Before we started We Invest Different Podcasts, I had a hard time figuring out where to record my podcast. If you are like me, I got some good news for you. If you haven't heard of Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. You have everything you need in one place. Anchor has tools that'll allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and your computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So if you're interested, just go on over to your app store and download Anchor or go to anchor.fm to get started. The Financial Fashion brand, man, was created to empower people to be the best version of themselves. And we do that by promoting positivity, self-improvement, and financial literacy. And we also focus on mindset, faith, education, and wealth, because those are the principles and those are the things that you can learn to be successful in life and in business. So with that being said, take a look at our website at fnfstore.com, where you can find our apparel, you can find things about our company, and much more. Back to the show. You are now tuned in to We Invest Different Podcasts, where we have high-level conversations. I'm Mr. John Michael Best.
And I'm Victor Thomas II.
Let's tap in. Welcome back for another conversation of We Invest Different Podcasts. I'm co-host Mr. John Michael Best.
And I'm your other co-host, Victor Thomas II.
Man, and it's good to be back, man. I know both of us, has been met with some circumstances this week that made it difficult, but only the strong will survive, bro. And
That's right.
That's really why we're here. We're not just surviving, because survival is nearly dying, but you just barely making it.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually thriving, and we have to understand that thriving is a process. Thriving is a process of gaining momentum. In order to thrive, you have to have momentum, and that's what we're doing. We're in momentum right now. We're in movement right now.
That's right.
That being said, man, how you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just taking heed to what you said and applying it to my situation, bro. Because I got a lot of moving parts right here going on, and a lot of parts that ain't moving. But keeping that momentum, and not getting lost in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Really working and not getting lost in it. So, making sure I'm meditating, keeping that in place. But man, it's a good place to be in, because I'm learning, man, and I'm grateful, bro. But what about you, man?
Same here, man. I feel like I'm being tested. Like when we said, I think we said this last week, but man, I've been tested this week more so than I believe any other weekend this year. Actually, the car went out on Tuesday, and I thank God that my woman was able to make it to Manuel's house before it actually stopped working. So that was the will of God for that to happen, and I'm glad that it happened at the place it happened, at the location that it happened. So I'm just trying, I'm not trying, but I'm looking on the positive end of everything, because life is all about perspective. And I could easily complain about not having a vehicle, but like I told you the other day, there are so many other blessings, man. There are so many blessings.
Yes, sir.
And then, like, before the car went out, right? The day before the car went out, I was riding and I was thinking to myself about, putting things together. And I was thinking about the things that I had to do, all of the stuff that I had to get done. And then I ended up riding past a person that was walking, that I see often walking a lot.
Word.
And he looked kind of homeless. So in the midst of me trying to put things together, I immediately started thanking the Lord, because oftentimes we overlook our blessings that's in front of us, because we be so focused on the blessings that we want to attract. We be so focused on the blessings that we want to have and the things that we want to do, that we forget what's in front of us. So I just took that time to really stop myself and get back into the spirit of gratitude. And then the next day, the car got taken. But I had already started being in the spirit of gratitude at that moment because I realized how blessed I was. And I was already in the spirit of gratitude when the car went down. So I thank God for the mindset and the mental toughness. And we're going to talk about that, on this topic as well. But the topic I wanted to talk about today is, it's not really a topic, but it's really a conversation. But it's a conversation starter. The conversation starter is, the most important part of failing or falling is what you will learn and gain when you get back up.
Yes, sir.
And I was really inspired by this conversation starter because I actually lived through it in real time. Like, this week has been a real tester of my faith. This week has been a real tester of, my patience.
Word.
So I do want to dive into, the things that you will obtain by learning to endure through, by learning to, you know, finish things that you go through and not giving up in the middle of it. There are some things that you're going to gain, and that's what the conversation is about today. So before I dive into the things that I feel like you're gaining from, you know, from going through, I want you to give your spiel on it. Like, what are some of the character traits, and what are some of the great things that you will gain in life? You can be transparent if you would like. What are some of the things that you gained from not giving up when you was going through tough situations? Like, talk about that.
Man, in this process that I'm going through right now, man, in all honesty, what I believe I'm gaining more than anything is what I've heard to be called staying power.
Mm-hmm.
And what I receive that is, you know, how sometimes we'll go through something or something to happen, and that emotion that comes up that
Yeah,
makes us frustrated and will sometimes prompt us to react in a not so good way.
yeah.
It's like it builds my endurance of being able to feel that feeling. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So when something else happens, it's not as bad because I done been through a similar storm already and had to, you know, deal with that feeling, because I'm learning that it isn't always an immediate solution to everything we face with. And sometimes we just gotta wait it out, stay it out. You know what I mean? Feel that feeling for a while and still be able to move with it. And I think that's the number one thing that I gain from those type of situations. Like my endurance and strengthening.
mm. I think that's very powerful. And I really want to stay right here because endurance is a very important thing. And I believe that no matter what you're doing in life, you're going to need some type of endurance to reach your goal. I don't
Right.
even care whether it has something to do with your success. Like, it don't have to necessarily be about money or be about business. It's literally about your personal development. Like, to be able to wait something out, bro, is really something that you gotta have within. It's something that you have to know within, because if you don't have any vision, you won't endure through it. So it
Right.
has to be something in mind. You have to have something in your mind that's going to help you endure. And I looked up, this is one of the things. Endurance is one of the things that I felt I gained from not giving up, through each situation in my life as well. And one of the definitions of endurance is suffer patiently.
Mm,
And I
that's
think that's
heavy.
very deep,
It is.
to be able to suffer patiently. And another word that's a synonym for that, I feel, is long suffer.
Man, yes, sir. I was just thinking that word right before you said it. That's it. That
Yes,
fruit of that
bro.
Holy
And
Spirit.
those are like endurance, man. And I feel like that's a key character trait, and that's a key thing that you'll be able to, acquire by making it a habit of going through. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's a mindset thing. Going through things shape your mindset. So it's all about how you're going to react, and it's all about how you're going to respond to situations. And I feel that once we have a higher level of consciousness, you will also be able to grow in endurance and grow in persistence and grow in mental toughness and
Mhm.
determination. And
Yes, sir.
all of these things I feel is connected, bro.
They are.
Your endurance, your persistence, your mental toughness, and your faith, like all is interconnected because they all go towards your personal power to pull through situations that you don't know how you're gonna come out of.
Mm. Bro, you know what you just made me think of when you said that
What's up?
the other day, and not just the other day, but for a minute, man, I've been just having the thought of God, I need more of your power.
Mm,
And man, I'm seeing that this is a part of the way how to get it. Being able to endure, like you just was saying, bro, that power got to
yeah,
go
bro.
through something in order to really have that power. It's just like weightlifting, you know what I'm saying? Or working out. I mean,
Right,
you got to push that muscle to a point to get them results.
right,
So that
right,
really
bro.
just spoke to me, bro. For real, when you said something about power.
And it's like, but see, the thing about it, bro, is that that power that you speaking of is literally in all of us.
Mm,
But like things that we go through and things that we don't learn from diminishes that power. That's why
mm.
I made it, you know, on purpose. I put it in, you have to actually get back up. That's the most important part because people fall every day.
Right.
Falling is the most consistent thing, and falling is the most thing that you'll have in common with other people. But not
Right.
many people get back up. So the getting back up part is the part that is going to help you gain that power back because man, we be beat up through life, and I believe that everything happened for a reason, and God allowed things to happen for us and not to us. And
Right.
that
Yes, sir.
even in that, it's a perspective and it's a mindset because you can say God did this to me, or you can say God did this for me,
For me. Woo! Bars. Bars.
and that's
Pure
an
bars.
energy. That's an energy level, bro. That's like a consciousness and an awareness and an acknowledgement that I feel that we all need to press towards because it releases a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety when you give things to God when situations happen. Like
Yes,
when you
sir.
have an understanding that everything happens literally for you to learn something from it, for you to grow from it, or to like move you from one situation to another. So it's like when you moving and having that thought process and that consciousness, it's like you're welcoming things in your life versus you fighting against it. Because a lot of
Mm.
times we go against the flow of life. We go against the thing that God is trying to send us. We go against, the direction and like sometimes, bro, it's okay to just sit and be in it.
Yes, that be the hard part, bro. Cause I know a lot of times, I know me, I'm getting better with it, but I know me, I would try to immediately try to fix every situation that come across my plate. Cause it wasn't even to really fix the situation. It was to relieve that feeling that I didn't want to sit in. You feel me?
Yeah,
That be the motivation. And then I end up doing some old dumb junk that ain't even make sense.
that happens, bro.
Yeah.
That happens. So my thing is one question that I will pose from this conversation starter is like when you going through something, when you going through things, do you feel like having a vision for your life helps you actually go through it? Because when you have a vision, it gives you purpose, is what I'm saying. So like purpose gives you drive. And that's what makes you fight. And that's what makes you want to like get through any situation because you know what you're going after. But if you don't have no purpose or you don't feel that you have a purpose in life, I feel like you won't fight through as much as you would if you had something that you're going towards. So like in your lifetime, bro, like when you was going through certain situations, Were like, did that ever hit your thought process? Did you ever think about like your ultimate goal in life when you was like going through bad situations? Because I know you went through like some very detrimental things, and like you could have lost your life. So like in those moments of where you went through those things, did you ever think about like your ultimate goals in life, like who you are becoming, like the whole bigger picture?
Um, it's funny for me because during that time, I was really realizing I was receiving from God a new vision for myself.
Mm,
I really didn't have nothing to look to but God during that time. And me just being tired of the way things were. And I guess my vision on that is what motivated me. Wanting to change my predicament and change the way that I was. I never at that point I didn't have a real solid um I guess you could say maybe like a vision that's like career or something like that, maybe. But it was just me just want to be a better person, bro. And just tired, you know? Like something got to change because I keep hitting these same walls and I'm tired of that. So I guess in a way that was my vision. You feel me?
where that started, see, that's the reason why I wanted to get to that, because I wanted to tell the people that in order to last, in order to endure, in order to grow in persistence, consistency, mental toughness, and faith, and all of those great things, you have to first have a vision for yourself. And that's
Mm-hmm.
very important because me going through what I'm going through right now, I have a vision of myself of having faith and trust in God. Like that's the vision I have for myself, and that's my goal that I have within. So
Right.
like while I'm going through these situations, I keep that in mind. It's like I'm building myself as I go through, because it's like this is gonna build this and this is gonna build that. Like if I go through this, this is gonna build that. So I know that I make a conscious decision to go through this and be of good cheer, because I know that there's a reward on the other side.
Word. That's a major key right there, boy. Major key. Remember the vision. Because I know sometimes for me, bro, I get lost in the situation. I ain't even gonna lie. And all I end up thinking about is how can I fix this one or two or three or four or five situations I'm dealing with right now, and
Right.
totally lose sight of the bigger picture. So that's a value of what you just said for me right now. Me being real.
Big old facts, man. Big old facts. And like I'm glad that we're able to talk about this from real experience, because I believe that we're not where we are. We're only where we are because of endurance. And
Mm.
because we kept working on that vision that we have of ourselves. That's the only reason why we're consistent the way we've been, bro. And I know, like, even through what you've been through in the past, you've still been working on your vision. Like, you've always had a vision of being a force in music. Now
True. True.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. You still had that vision of yourself, even going through when you went to jail, when you had, the relapses on, whatever type of addiction that you was dealing with at the time. You still had the vision within yourself and within your mind of where you was going. You've always worked on
Yeah.
music ever since I've known you. High school, you was in the band. Like you've been consistent with music ever since I've known you. So no matter what you went through in life, I can see that that's what that was what your vision was.
Yeah. I guess because I never really it was in my heart. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was nothing that I was like, this is where I want to be, this is how it is. You know what I mean? It was never like a defined vision per se. But yeah, that music always been pumping in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could say it was a vision in that sense. You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm doing. And this is, I want to be involved in this. But like you said before, it's important for us to really, you ain't say it verbatim, but it's important for us to really, you know, what I received was to specify our goals. You know?
CEO here, tapping in. I just wanted to remind all of our supporters and all of our listeners to share our podcast and encourage everybody to subscribe and get these great conversations. Back to the show.
I mean,
Yes.
make it specific
To the best of your ability,
to the
because
best. Yeah.
like man, in real time, with me and my vision and over the years and how I know how goals work. Sometimes they change
Right.
because you change, situations change, life change. So and also sometimes you can't really communicate your vision sometimes. 'Cause I know that was a big problem of mine. You know, I would
Mm-hmm.
always try to get people on board, and I would always try to get somebody support, but I wasn't always able to communicate my vision effectively enough for somebody to understand what I was doing. But now my vision is getting clearer and clearer because I stuck on that vision because of what I endured through all of the things that I went through. I endured, I persisted. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's right.
that's the reason. That's the reason why I was able to still hold on to everything and still make it through was because I had, some type of vision in my head, regardless of whether I could communicate it or not, regardless of whether I knew exactly what I was trying to do. I had somewhat of
You
a
know,
vision.
it was in your heart, cuz. And I
Right,
saw that. You feel me?
right.
I saw that. And that, man, I ain't gonna hold you. That's why I had to fuck with you, bro. Cause you get it. You know, everybody don't understand vision, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody don't understand like starting with nothing and trying to make something. I felt you on that though, you feel me? And
Yeah,
I saw
bro.
you were being persistent. Man, I salute you on that, bro. Again. You know what I mean?
Amen to that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we saying. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we saying. All we saying to the people is that once you have that vision of yourself, that's going to help you get back up when you have a downfall or when you fail. Because if you don't quit, you don't fail.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't fail, you don't learn.
Real talk. And that's
If
that's another thing I'm learning, bro. Well, I've been learning is like I'm learning to look for the lesson in everything. Cause it's always one right there. Like, especially when we fall. It's like, okay, you fall. Now look around. Find
right,
that lesson. You know what I mean? Cause then, you know, like I said before, when you get faced with a similar situation, you can refer back and be like, oh, okay, I got a better understanding of what's going on right now. And I believe that'll help our endurance in whatever we may face. Cause you know what I mean? We done learned the lesson, or we may know how to deal with it now. We know what God is doing because God done maybe did something like this before. And
right.
it's hard for it to all make sense in the moment. But like you said, sometimes we just gotta sit and feel it. You know what I mean? And really, really think about it. Don't try to distract ourselves. Don't try to stay busy. Just sit in it for a little while. And then, God will come through and be like, boom, this is why. This
And
why
talk,
this happened. You said you wanted this. Well, this had to happen for you to get there.
and talk to him through your going through. Like
For sure.
you got to talk to the higher power when you're going through, because that's gonna help you even more with your consciousness while you're going through. That's even
Real
building your
talk.
strength and you're building your endurance too, because you understand who got control of the situation. When you understand who is in control, then you release control. Then you don't have to worry about the responsibility of fixing it. So it's
Mm.
like a
Oh,
lot of times we put that responsibility on ourselves, and we'll be walking around depressed because we're trying to fix everything in our lives on our own. So
real
that's
talk.
another thing. That's another thing. Like whatever your vision is, you have to. Whatever your vision is, you have to, like, don't go about it thinking that you're doing it by yourself and doing it alone, because if you do, you're gonna always feel like you don't have enough or you're not enough. So always be positive and always know that, like, the highest power, God, is in your corner. Your creator is in your corner to help you do all that you need to do. But you gotta believe that.
Real talk.
So
Real
man,
talk.
going to the next segment, if there's nothing you have left to do with that, that conversation started.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Good stuff.
Man, I'm telling you, this is great, and I feel that everybody should be able to put this in perspective and gain something from it. So going for the next segment of what we learned, bro. I do want to say this, man, of what I learned. One thing that I've learned, bro, recently during this week, was just through, like, epiphany, really, man. Just because like you can know something, but it don't really register until you really like see it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of the things, man, that I'm really learning is that your goal has to be so positive that when something negative happens, it's harder to affect you.
Mm. Mm.
So what I'm really saying is that we have to be consistently positive as much as possible so that when something comes in our way that's negative or could potentially take us backwards, we're strong enough because we got enough positivity in the tank and we've been consistent enough in our routines to be strong enough to get through the negativity that's about to come.
Yeah, for sure. That good stuff.
So it's all about building up that positive arsenal, that
Positive
positive
arsenal.
ammunition. You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
that word. Positive arsenal.
Yeah, you building that positive arsenal because you got to go into your bag sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
When these situations arrive and you might not know what to do, the first 10 minutes, but after you calm yourself and you start to apply positivity, then you
Mm.
start gaining some type of rationale. You start gaining some logic. You start gaining some reasoning.
Mm. Whoo! Boy, you
Yeah,
in the
because you
spirit,
got
boy.
that arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, bro. What about you?
Well, you just dropped it off just then, boy. I felt that move in my spirit just then, boy. Real talk, I felt that move in my spirit. But man, whew, I don't even know what I don't know what to say after that, man. But I got something basic I can say. I'm learning that, man. A personal thing that I'm learning about myself. I don't know if this apply to everybody. It could, but I know me. I'm learning that with this music, bro. I gotta touch it every day. Can't a
Mm,
day go by, bro, that I don't touch it, bro. And I haven't been doing that for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like I touch it here and there. I might touch it when somebody needs something and they trying to spend some money, I jump on it. Or just when I feel like it. But it has to be every day. And that's what I'm learning, bro. Consistency and touching my craft every single day, bro. No excuse. Like even if I come home and I don't work the 13-hour shift, I need to come home and do something. I need to touch it. Just even if it ain't for like 30 minutes, bro. Every day. And that's what I'm learning, bro. Dedication, man.
hey, that's powerful. I don't want people to just walk past that like you didn't say nothing. I know that you was transparent and you was personal with it, but that's the key. Like because when it comes to honing your craft and really honoring your craft, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, like in order for us to grow, we have to take it serious. And it's
Yeah.
like I used to tell myself this all the time when I was starting in entrepreneurship, and I used to go drive Postmates and do all of this other stuff outside of what I was supposed to be growing in. I was trying to find ways to do. I was finding ways doing things outside of what I said my purpose was, and
Mm.
I would always run into problems. I would get like parking ticket after parking ticket, man. I would always run into issues because I wouldn't stay down. Because it's different from when you're a leader. It's different from when you're a leader and you have, of course, a course that you're on and you're supposed to be on that course.
Real talk.
You're held to another standard than a
Whew.
person that's just average. So like my mission, that's why I know my mission is divine because like I tried to do other things and they weren't working out for me. Like I've not gained any peace like the peace that I have doing what I do now.
Real talk. Real talk.
So man, that's a pointer for everybody. In order to grow, if you want to be a certain type of person, work on that person every day. You can't be like, oh, I want to be this person, but then you pick up the things that you're supposed to work on every now and then, but you're trying to be the best that you can be. It don't make sense, and the numbers don't add up. You have to put that energy out of wanting to be the best that you can be in order to actually have that happen.
Right.
And the action steps of actually doing that is you putting in work every day on yourself and on your craft. So I really agree with that, bro. Like not just for you, but in general for everybody that hears this. Work on your craft, even if your craft is yourself. Work on yourself.
Every day. Yes, sir.
every day. So moving on, man, from that segment to our last segment of the financial theme of the month. And it is a new month, man, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this new theme because I feel that it's important because it's gonna be a segue into our guest that's going to come on the show um, on Conversation 27. Now, the financial theme of the money is collaborate and use group economics to reach your
Mm-hmm.
financial goals. Because it's like sometimes you might not have the best credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your credit might not be the best, or you might not have the most cash. You might not have the cash that you need. But what you have, you might have the knowledge, you might have the know-how, you might have the skill. So the thing is that you find people that could complement you and help you along your process or help you with your vision or your goal. Find people that's willing, find people that understand. And not only do you have to find people, you will eventually attract people if you're serious about what you're doing.
Real talk.
So like that energy of taking yourself serious, like we were saying, like honing in on your craft and taking yourself serious. Like once you start putting in that work and people start to see that, they want to collaborate with you. They want to partner with you. And being a partner with somebody is not a bad thing. And I'm speaking to the people who aren't entrepreneurs. Like you might not be an entrepreneur and you might not just be spearheaded into the industry, but you still want to own something. So like partnerships is a perfect way to not be all the way in. Like you can
Mm.
actually be a part of something, but not have the full responsibility of it. So if you're not big on accountability and you don't want all of the things on you, group economics is a smart and efficient way to do it. Plus, you can keep it in the family. Like you can decide who you want to go into group economics with. Like you can be in control. So it's like I just feel that you can accomplish a lot more as a group and as a unit than you can alone. So it's all about just finding the pieces that you need and the tools that you need and communicating that with the team and communicating that with the people around you so that you can gain, a team that'll help you get your goal to fruition.
Makes sense. That's solid right there, man. That's solid.
Sure. Anything you would like to say about group economics?
Hey, man, I think what I received from that, bro, for me personally, with myself, I've been the type of person that try to do everything. If I see something need to be done, I would try to do it. But now I'm opening myself up to receiving those right people. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I see, you know, where I'm at definitely aligning with the financial theme of the month and really keeping my eyes open and my heart open mainly for people to come in. Cause I be having trust issues cause
oh, for sure.
everybody, so many shady people out here smiling, your face, all that nonsense, man. I'm learning to trust God. And I know with me trusting God, I will be able to, get closer to that concept of group economics. Cause it is a powerful thing, man. And I definitely, want to start embarking on journeys that would require that. So that's good stuff to have on my conscience right now, man, for this month and all other months coming.
For sure, for sure. And then too, it's all about energy, you guys. All about energy. When you attaching yourself to a group or another person, or people, always shake the energy and you lead with your energy first. You know what I'm saying? Be the energy in the room, be the energy that you want to receive. So if you want the energy of being able to trust, be trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to be around people that you can trust, then you yourself would need to be trustworthy. So
That's right.
also think about that when it comes to group economics as well, because you'll always attract good people because, like you said, God is gonna always lead us where we need to be. So if a person that don't supposed to be in your group finds their way in, if you connect it, and if your consciousness is right and if your energy is right, a situation is going to happen that's going to show you that person don't belong there, and that'll be your chance right there to correct, you know, what's going on. So
Real
if you
talk.
lead, if you lead with energy and you always, allow God to guide you with that energy, you'll always be put in situations where, you know, it's gonna turn out to be for your good.
That's right.
Well, with that being said, man, I thank y'all for tuning in for conversation number 26. I'm co-host Mr. John Michael Best.
And I'm your other co-host, Victor Thomas II.
Man, and it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you, man. High level. I
Shit.
thank you guys for listening. And man, should we do a little quick rundown? Let me do a little quick rundown real quick. We did. Now the conversation starter was the most important part about failing or falling is what you'll learn and gain when you get back up. So also have that vision first. So when you do go through those things, you'll be able to learn the game and get back up. And you'll be able to gain endurance, persistence, all of these willpower, discipline, faith, mental toughness, all of these great things that is going to help you as a person. You will gain that by having a vision of yourself and sticking to that and being consistent.
That's right.
Anything else before we hop out, Vic?
That's it, man.
All right, man. Pleasure. We'll see y'all next time for conversation number 27. And that'll be our first guest on the show. And we'll see y'all then.
Peace.
Peace. Did you know 1 out of every 4 adults suffer from mental illness in some type of way? This is why we created a movement called MH10. This was created to encourage and empower people to focus on themselves for at least 10 minutes per day, at least for a jog, a walk, or a run, or meditation for that time. The goal is to decrease stress, because stress is one of the leading causes of chronic physical and mental issues in the body. So if you want to join the movement, you can post on social media during your 10 minutes using hashtags MH10 or Mental Health 10 Minutes.